Now then, why on earth would someone like me, who predominantly games on a PC, decide to get one of these things? Let's take a look. First things first, despite my channel being full of videos where I'm taking old PC parts and making them able to run old games or even some new games, I don't actually game that much, mainly because I have a full-time job. I also do this as a hobby, and I'm also a parent. So already you can probably work out why I did buy a Nintendo Switch. So I did actually buy it initially for my kids. Despite the Nintendo Switch almost being 5 years old, it will be on the 3rd of March 2022, I have resisted the temptation to purchase one. Although in the past I did have a original Wii, which I absolutely loved, but when the Wii U came out, my kids were very little, so I didn't really get much time at all to do that sort of thing, so I never bought one. So last year, towards the end of 2021, my kids asked if they could have a Nintendo Switch. So long story short, in my household I now have a Nintendo Switch. Honestly never thought I'd buy one, but I have now, and I am not regretting it one bit. I've now had it a couple of weeks, and I'm actually finding myself wanting to play on the Switch much more than I am my PC or my Xbox, and I'm finding it absolutely brilliant. So when I originally unboxed the Nintendo Switch, for my kids of course, not for me, I got this weird feeling that I've not had for a very, very long time, and that was back when I was younger and I got, for example, a Master System. That moment when you get a console that you've been after for a while is a really, really magical moment when you are younger. And I got that when I was unboxing the Switch. The packaging is admittedly really colourful and exciting, particularly the console I went for with the code for Mario Kart Deluxe 8. Just taking everything out of the box, so from taking the Joy-Cons out, to the dock, to the actual console itself, there's something really magical about it because it was so different and so new, or at least new to me. I gather that some people have had these since March 2017. Which brings me nicely on to the Nintendo Eshop. Now, I have had a 2DS in the past, so I'm quite aware of what the Nintendo Eshop was like. However, it really comes into its own with the Switch. Despite there being the so-called Nintendo tax, I don't mind paying a little bit extra for certain games if they are good. Just at the moment with the New Year sale, you can pick up some right bargains. For example here, Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered or Remastered. £1.79, that is the sort of thing that you'd find on a Steam sale. Admittedly not very many at that price, but as you can see there's a lot there to go at. A massive library, which obviously wasn't there in 2017 when the console first came out, but it really has seemingly matured, and I've come in at the right time, I would say, to get the most out of this console. I do follow quite a lot of gaming channels and that kind of thing on YouTube, so I'm aware when new stuff comes out, and I'm aware of the speculation around whether or not we're going to get a 4K Switch. But from what I've seen, from what I've enjoyed, I don't think we really need it. I would have liked to get hold of the OLED Switch, but to be quite honest with you, most of the time I'm playing the games together with my kids, and we're playing multiplayer, so the big screen works better. I don't really notice the lack of resolution in today when we're getting consoles that are outputting at 4K. Or really high frame rates. It doesn't really bother me. If the game's good, it's good, and that's the bottom line really when it comes to playing games. The Switch is obviously never going to replace my PC for gaming. However, what I will say is with the current prices of graphics cards, it's getting exceptionally more difficult to stay up to date with the latest tech. The availability of the graphics cards is just absurd. But there ain't nothing better than playing a first-person shooter on a PC with really ramped up graphics and detail, using the mouse, using the keyboard, going online. It's really enjoying the escapism of what online play on games like that using up-to-date hardware can present. But if I'm on the go and I want to play something a bit more portable, then the Nintendo Switch does satisfy that need at the moment. However, when the Steam Deck comes along, I have a feeling I'm going to change my mind quite drastically. I do have one on pre-order. Unfortunately, I wasn't in the first tranche, but I'm in the second tranche. So I'm looking forward to being able to pay for that and get that and compare it. I'm aware that the Steam Deck is a lot bigger than the Nintendo Switch. However, that's not going to put me off. I'm a big bloke. I can handle the extra weight and size of a handheld. Probably won't let my kids play on it, given that it's worth a bit more money than the Nintendo Switch. But I'll ensure that they can get something out of it by buying the dock, and we'll play multiplayer games up on the big screen. I do have a bit of a regret in that I wish I'd have adopted getting a Switch a bit earlier, because I'm very late to the party, and eventually there will be something that comes along that will supersede it in terms of portable gaming. Probably the Steam Deck for a short period of time, but knowing what Nintendo, Microsoft and Sony are like, they will soon recapture some of that lost market share. Which brings me to some final thoughts. At the moment, myself and my children are playing a lot of the Nintendo first-party titles such as Mario Kart, Mario Party Superstars. Eventually we might start to get a little bit bored of those titles, although I have a feeling we'll still keep coming back to them. So if you do have any recommendations of family-orientated games, then please do pop them in the comments below. It'd be much appreciated. I'm aware I can look on review sites and stuff to find out what great titles to purchase. But as always, I do read the comments, so any suggestions would be very welcome. You might start to see a little bit of Switch-related content on my channel. However, I'm going to stick to the kind of tone of cheap tech, Android-based devices, as well as upgrading old PCs, despite my newfound love for the Nintendo Switch. So that's it for today's video. I am going to play on my Switch. Thank you for watching, and please do hit subscribe and like if you've liked the video, or do hit the dislike button if you've not, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.